Starbucks is deciding to end a portion of their race awareness campaign where they are putting the hashtag race together on coffee cups. Now, there was a lot of controversy, this huge kerfuffle over this issue. They wanted to not only raise awareness about race relations here in the United States, but they also wanted to basically put people on notice and let them know that Starbucks as a company is going to be much more inclusive in their hiring process. They want to start a dialogue about race in the country. Now, people did not take kindly to this campaign. They thought that it was strange for baristas to get involved. They thought it was strange for baristas to use that hashtag on coffee cups. A lot of people go to Starbucks with the intention of studying or writing or just relaxing, and so they felt like this wasn't the proper forum in order to have this conversation. Now, Howard Schultz, who is the CEO of Starbucks, did speak to the press about this and some of the backlash, and here's what he had to say. While there has been criticism of the initiative, and I know this hasn't been easy for any of you, speaking to his employees, let me assure you that we didn't expect universal praise. Well, it's good that he didn't expect that because a lot of people absolutely hated this campaign. One person said the following: most people come to Starbucks for coffee. Race is an uncomfortable thing to bring up, especially in a Starbucks. Another person said, they're here for coffee. They're not here to push their political agenda. I even contemplating not coming here because of it. There are other ways you can go about doing things to stimulate interest in what you're doing. They must be doing so well, they don't have to worry about losing customers over that.
Okay, so conventional wisdom is this was a flop, it was a bad idea, and they shouldn't have done it in the first place. And they realize now they shouldn't have, that's why they're stopping. So Starbucks says, no, that's not true. We had planned to stop on March 22nd. We just didn't announce that earlier. Mm-hmm. That part of the story I don't really care about. If they decide to stop now early, so what, right?
Yep.
Here's what I do care about. I actually really applaud them for doing it. I'm not in the camp that thinks it was stupid and goofy. Don't get me wrong. Like Howard Schultz said, it's really hard, and it might have actually cost them some customers, and it is uncomfortable. But look at the bravery of a corporation to do that and to do it with good intent, right? Mm-hmm. Knowing that they might lose customers, knowing they're going to get blowback. You think they didn't know when they put hashtag race together that people were going to, make fun of them and like it didn't occur to them that having a conversation with your barista about race is a little awkward. Like they knew that was coming, and they tackled it anyway. Even if this isn't a shining success at this moment, mm-hmm. when you look at it in a short-term way, it's at least them trying to do the right thing by getting people to push past that uncomfortableness to have that conversation. I think it's phenomenal.
I applaud them for wanting to hire more minorities. I applaud them for wanting to open up stores in areas that have more minorities living there. But at the same time, I think that this kind of falls short of sparking an important dialogue, right? So what has happened so far from them using this hashtag on coffee cups? Absolutely nothing. No one's had a discussion. If anything, people have just criticized Starbucks, and that's it. And so I think that this was the initial phase of them publicizing something good that they're going to do, but they could have publicized it in a more effective way. And also, because of the timing, people are criticizing them because of the Ferguson protests, and they think that they're kind of exploiting that or capitalizing on that. I can understand that criticism, and it could be a valid criticism, but nonetheless, if they used what happened in Ferguson to spark a dialogue about race, then I'm in favor of it. I just don't think that this component of their campaign was really successful.
Yeah, I don't believe that it was opportunistic at all. If anything, it's going to polarize people and cost them customers, and they did it anyway because they thought it was the right thing to do. To criticize them on the heels of Ferguson is insane if you're on the issue of civil rights and on that side of the ledger. You want people to talk about it. This is the perfect time to talk about it. And look, to counter your point, I will quote Maximus Decimus Meridius.
Thank you.
What we do in life echoes in eternity, right? So this is what they've started, right? Mm-hmm. And you don't know what the ripple effects of this will be. And I don't think it's going to be magical that all of a sudden, like, oh my God, we woke up one day and racism was gone. It was because a butterfly effect. At one point, Starbucks wrote something on a cup. But I do believe that giant changes start with small actions. Mm-hmm. And this was a corporation having morality in a way that is, in my opinion, totally unexpected. Not because it's Starbucks, because of any corporation doing it. They're still led by their founder. I think that has a a lot to do with it. They have not become a robot yet. They made a human decision that tried to get us other humans who go to Starbucks and spend a lot of time together to actually talk to one another. I love it. Even if it's a failure, it's a wonderful failure, and it gets us on the right path.
Yeah, I do really appreciate the fact that they're willing to take a risk. Because way too often, when it comes to an established brand, people are too afraid to do anything that might stir the pot even a little bit. Even though I don't think this component of their campaign was successful, I will applaud them for taking a risk.
Now time for a goofy sports analogy, brought to you by Jen Huger. Sometimes I drive to the basket, even though I'm not very tall, and I get stuffed. And I know...
you get stuffed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or I get my shit sent.
Okay.
Is that better?
I don't understand any of this, but keep going.
Okay. They will block my shot.
Okay, perfect. Just say that.
Okay, all right. And I know that a certain percentage of the time that's going to happen. But I'm not worried about how it's going to look at that moment. I'm not worried about looking bad. I'm not worried that the actual play goes poorly at that particular moment. What I'm worried about is an attitude that if you drive to the basket, good things will happen. So on a macro scale, we might not get that basket, but we'll get more baskets over the course of a game, right? So this is Starbucks driving to the basket. So in this case, some people might argue that their shot got swatted, right?
Or they got stuffed.
Or they got stuffed, or that their shit was sent. Okay. And their plan to have people venti over this didn't work. Okay. But overall, this is what leads to change. That small step after small step where we actually talk to each other and realize one another's perspectives. And what better way to do it than when you're standing around Starbucks and using their facilities when you're hardly paying them anything.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right.